Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our information session for the Bachelor's in Information Technology program at CTS College. My name is Sanjeev, and I'll be your host for today's session. Right, today we're going to be diving in depth into the Bachelor's in Information Technology program at CTS College, as well as the CTS IT Bridging Program or the IT Accelerator program that we formulated just for students who came out of CSEC. All right, so before we actually begin, I just want to introduce you really quickly to the staff that actually works within this program at CTS College. And that actually includes Mr. Ravi Raghunath, who is the Executive Director of CTS College. We have Mr. Aaron Naris, who is the Program Manager. A lot of you may have spoken to Aaron in the past, maybe way before this information session. And of course, there is me. My name is Sanjeev, and I'm the Program Administrator for the Bachelor's in Infotech at CTS College. So we all work in managing this program, so we can all be contacted under this group email, bsc@ctscollege.com. All right, so you can make contact with us by emailing at bsc@ctscollege.com. Furthermore, I have a really big question for you all this morning, right? Because I want you all to be interactive as just as much as I am. All right. So my question to you this morning is that why study for a bachelor's degree? Can anyone explain to me or tell me why they think studying for a bachelor's degree is important? Any reasons why you're pursuing your bachelor's in IT? Well, comparing in terms of the cost aspect is definitely something that you may want to look into, right? But particularly reasons why persons would study for a bachelor's degree or a bachelor level program is that, well, most persons work within the let's just say they work within the industry and they may hold a particular position, but perhaps they do it for promotion purposes. There are some persons who actually do it for like changing their career paths entirely for increased salary to start to grow their own business or even personal achievement. And of course, for practical experience in IT. And this is particularly with our degree as well, right? And of course, it enhances your employability and so on, right? So most of these scenarios may actually apply to you, right? And we've had numerous amount of students in like these varying areas that may actually come to us and start their bachelor's degree. And at the end of it, they're able to, achieve what exactly they had sought out for themselves. All right. So what I want to do this morning is actually compare these salary aspects. So we're going to look at in depth in one of these particular scenarios, and that would be the increased salary aspect. As much as students, they find it, difficult all the way throughout to clear tuition fees and stuff like that, right? There is a big part to play in it becoming, a f there's a definitely a huge part of it to play in terms of your like further down the line when you actually get your job after you complete the bachelor's degree, you earn back that money, and we're actually here to compare that. So over here, I have OJT salary chart, and all of this is actually qualification based, right? So someone who typically, just possesses CSEC qualifications would be earning roughly $3,000 per month. Someone with a K qualification or a diploma in IT or any other related field may earn roughly $4,300 per month, and someone with an associate's degree may be earning something like $5,400 per month. Someone with a bachelor's degree, however, would be earning $7,500 roughly per month. And if we look at just by the looks of things, the comparison between someone who just simply possesses CSEC qualifications versus those who possess a bachelor's degree, we can see a huge gap. And we're actually going to look at that in depth in the next slide as well, right? And of course, we have the master degree level, which pretty much earns you on average $8,700 per month. All right. So let's have a key. We're going to look at a particular case for pursuing a degree as well. So essentially, what we would be doing is comparing how much more would you be earning versus having a bachelor's degree in comparison to having CSEC qualifications alone, right? So how much more would you be earning with a BSc versus CSEC qualifications per month? So we're going to take our bachelor degree figure and we're going to subtract the CSEC figure or the CXC qualification figure from that. So every month, on average, you could be earning $4,537.50 more every single month. And this is on average. And of course, this may be an on-job training position. So it's these values could be a whole lot more depending on the training that you're doing or the position that you're going to hold in the future as well. All right. So if we take this figure, this monthly figure that you earn in excess, how much more would you be earning in 1 year? We take that monthly figure, we multiply that figure by 12 months in a year. We earn roughly $54,450 more every single year. This is on excess, right? And of course, these are all average values. It could be a whole lot more depending on the position that you start off with. How much more would you be earning in a lifetime? Which is the bigger question, right? Because a lot of persons, they have long-term goals, not particularly short-term goals, but they have a whole lot more long-term goals in terms of family life, in terms of career. So how much more would you be earning in a lifetime, particularly 40 years, working within a particular industry, right? So we're going to take that yearly figure, $54,450 dollars, and we're going to multiply that by 40. And we're going to see that this is how much more you will be earning in a lifetime. $2,178,000, right? And again, these figures are on average. The funny thing about it is that this bachelor's degree takes you roughly 2 years, 8 months to complete, given that you start at level 4. If you start at a higher level, of course, it's going to take you a whole lot less time. But in just 1 year, the average excess salary that you would earn in just 1 year can actually clear the tuition in full even if you started at level 4, go all the way up to level 6, it can totally clear your tuition in just 1 year, right? So it is definitely a wonderful investment. And of course, you are definitely earning back what you would have put out in terms of tuition for your bachelor's degree as well, right? So you're not at loss at all. You're making yourself a whole lot more employable as well as a whole lot more educated. So it's all, I would say, it holds a lot more benefits, right? As opposed to downsides, right? So what we want to look at here is, of course, the job aspect. So we look at the salary aspect, but in terms of the jobs, what is there available for me once I finish this bachelor's degree? What exactly could I head into? And a lot of students don't actually consider this until they finish their bachelor's degree. Well, okay, I have my bachelor's now, but what exactly am I going to do with it, right? What is rising in demand versus what is decreasing in demand? And we've done some research based on the World Economic Forum or the WEF, and they actually suggested that the workforce is automating. And because of that automation, it's displacing over 85 million jobs in the next 5 years. And the COVID-19 recession created a double disruption scenario for the workers, right? So companies are now adopting technology, with 43% of the businesses surveyed by the WEF actually indicated that they are set to reduce their workforce because of technology integrations. So essentially, a lot of employers or a lot of companies or businesses or institutions are now looking at deploying a new fleet of IT professionals that essentially create some sort of technological integration within their business model that makes the model not only easier, but a little bit more affordable for the employer, right? And if we look at on the right-hand side, there's actually an entire list of jobs that are increasing in demand and jobs that are decreasing in demand. So if you have a look at the left column, that being the one that's increasing in demand, I'm hoping that you guys can actually see this. Let me zoom in a bit. The jobs that are increasing in demands, we can actually see that these are like data analysts and scientists, AI and machine learning specialists, and AI being, one of the most definitely a piece of technology that is rising in popularity. Therefore, there would be a lot more positions that are opening towards AI as well, right? And of course, persons that teach AI and all of those things as well, right? And of course, we have like big data specialists, digital marketing and strategy specialists. So let's have a look at what exactly is decreasing in demand. If these are increasing, what exactly are decreasing? If we look at the column on the right, let me just zoom in for you guys, we would see that we have roles like data entry clerks or administrative and executive secretaries, accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll clerks, accountants and auditors, etc. Can anyone recognize why or what exactly? There's a trend here in terms of those that are increasing in demand and those that are decreasing in demand. But can anyone recognize what that trend is and actually point that out for us? Right? It's quite evident as well, and I would have made mention of it just about a minute ago as well. But can anyone pinpoint what is the difference of the roles that are increasing in demand versus those that are decreasing in demand? Anyone wants to make an attempt? Yeah, decreasing seems more business related. You are correct. Increasing seems a bit more tech based, and you are absolutely correct. All right. If you look at those that are decreasing in demand, we would actually see that there are positions like data entry clerks, administrative and executive secretaries. These are all roles that has to be filled by one, two, three persons. All right. So for example, right, you have a like a typical business where, like for example, CTS College, we have tons of front desk staff, right, that work a typical 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 shift every single day, Monday to Friday, sometimes on Saturdays as well, right? So if I use that as an example, if we were to implement an online service that allows you to register and then of course have you, pay your tuition fees online, there is no need for front desk staff because it's all payment is facilitated online, registration is facilitated online, classes are now facilitated online. So using this as an example, there's no need for persons like front desk staff or data entry clerks, right? Or any sort of administrative staff that would sit in an actual physical office to greet and meet customers and actually help them with their daily transactions, right? The company has now implemented online services that can facilitate payments, registration. So there's no need for these smaller rules. However, there is a need for someone who can properly manage or even possibly create this system for CTS College. So this is an example of how, right, the IT sector is now growing. There's a lot more demand for IT systems that can increase, you know, or actually possibly improve the business model of existing companies right here, possibly even in Trinidad as right now. All right. And this is not something that's only happening in Trinidad. And we're going to have a look at that as well. This is happening worldwide and it's happening in places so it's not only happening in like banks and like the education industry and government institutions and stuff like that. It's happening in places even smaller, like fast food outlets. So let's have a look at some of those as well, right? On the next slide, I have a couple of examples of this actually taking place right here in Trinidad as well, right? So right over here, you would actually see like places like Massy stores, for example, as simple as getting your groceries. You can now shop online and have your groceries delivered to you. You have access to your Massy card. So all you have to do is just sign up online, right? Soon, I know a lot of you actually seeing that there's now stores, grocery stores, where you can just pop in, right? You scan your card, you pick up your items, and you check out. There's no cashiers in the grocery store, right? And that is actually phenomenal. That's actually a whole lot less salaries to pay at the end of the month. From the employer standpoint. So that's where exactly they are heading. They are trying to digitalize industries almost entirely, right? And this is where there's a whole lot more openings in terms of the IT sector, right? So as simple as Maxi Store is implementing that online service, I'm very sure that you all are familiar with KFC's online service as well for delivery and pickup, and you can actually check all of their special offers, etc. All right. And then, of course, there's a service offered by, well, TTPS. You can now make reports online without actually having to visit a station. So it's a lot more convenient to you if there's something that happens on the spur of the moment and there's no way that you can actually get to a police station, maybe even possibly report an accident. You can do it using their online service as well, right? And you can get real-time updates in terms of anything that happens in relation to public safety or anything like that directly on the application. So it digitalize the way that we do things and increases, workflow. It makes things generally better. All right. So these are some examples that are happening right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's really amazing to see some of these things, sprout to life here in Trinidad and Tobago. And a whole lot more opportunities are now open for persons who are willing, to head into the IT sector as well. So in terms of your experience here, with the University of Bedfordshire because this program, of course, is internationally recognized and it's done in partnership with a foreign university. So your qualification that you would achieve at the end of the program would be coming directly from a institute called the University of Bedfordshire. So today we're going to actually look into why study with the University of Bedfordshire, right? So particularly about the UOB, as we would abbreviate it to, the University of Bedfordshire is a modern, innovative university with a heritage of top quality education going back for more than a century, 100 years, right? That's a very, very long time and a lot of experience. More than 20,000 students from over 120 countries with 5 campuses in the UK. That includes Luton, Bedford, etc. They have education partners in China, Middle East, Europe, Southeast Asia, and of course, Trinidad and Tobago. And the internationally renowned league table has placed Bedfordshire in the top 6% of the best universities in the world. They are actually also the winner of the Queen's Anniversary Prize in 2013. This is the highest form of national recognition for universities in the UK. So they've actually been around for a while on the education scene at tertiary level, and they have been exceeding boundaries ever since. They've been annually reviewed, and they continue to pass their reviews, and of course, in terms of their qualification, internationally recognized. All right. So why study at CTS College then? A lot of you all may be asking this question. We've also been around for quite a while, and our mission is, of course, to provide high quality education, well, high quality and relevant educational opportunities whilst promoting excellence in both staff and students. We are a private institute with over 22 years in the education industry, going strong and healthy. And of course, we are ACTT registered and recognized, ACTT being the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. CTS College also offers a wide range of programs from preschool to diploma level to bachelor's and master's degree as well, right? CTS College offers a wide range of professional development programs in addition to those as well. And in terms of our achievements as an institution, right, we are actually a winner of over 106, I believe it's 109 at this point, ABE World Prizes. And we've been winning these since 2007 till date, every single year. We're actually a winner of over 47 university awards with the University of Hertfordshire, which is another UK-based university that we also offer programs with. We also the winner of 2 ABMA Academic Achievement Awards and the winner of 11 ACTT Awards. We got 6 for Student Support Services, 3 for Excellence for an Established QMS, and 2 for Excellence in both teaching and learning. So we've been on the education scene for quite a while, and we've been achieving and surpassing boundaries ever since, right? We actually have over 15 years of experience in delivering bachelor level programs, particularly BSc in IT or computer science programs, and we have an average pass rate of over 90% per module or per subject within the bachelor's degree. We have over 2,000 applicants each year and over 1,750 graduates with 500 first-class honors, right? And that's excellent. That number has actually increased by a lot, significantly, with our next graduating batch that just finished off in January, all right? Graduates are actually employed within various sectors and in various industries at different levels. So a lot of persons who actually finished this bachelor's degree, they migrated to places within within Canada, the US, possibly even Australia, of course the UK as well. And this is absolutely applicable for the Caribbean region as well, and of course locally, right? Given that the qualification is internationally recognized, right? So in terms of our experience with delivering the BSc IT, I just want to share our one of like a set of our most recent marks at each level of the program, given the units that we offered within that semester. Over here, we have the level 4 batch of students, which are represented in blue, level 5 is red, and level 6 being green. We can actually see the pass rates for each one of these units being 96 and 99 respectively for the 2 level 4 units, 95 and 92 respectively for the level 5 units, and of course, 100% all the way across the level 6 units represented. And we can actually see within each grade range, so like 70 to 100% in like overall for the unit, basically 58 and 88 students would have scored within 70 to 100% within level 4. And that's a really, really high numbers compared to those that scored within 60 to 69, 50 to 59, 40 to 49, etc. With the highest mark being 99 and 97 respectively. So not only students are scoring within 70 to 100, they are scoring marks like 99 and 97, which is very, very, very high at the bachelor level. And of course, we have students within level 5, 39 students and 16 students respectively scoring within 70 to 100 with marks like 85 and 92 respectively. And at the level 6, right, we have students like 34, 52, and 29 students respectively scoring within 70 to 100% with marks like 85, 82, and 86 respectively. But essentially, our average pass rate all the way throughout each level and each unit being offered within that semester a 98% pass rate, which is excellent, with 316 students across all levels scoring within the 70 to 100% range, which is considered to be a first class honors grade. Right. So, in terms of our experience and in terms of the support that you receive while you sit into our classes and you progress through the semesters with your assignments, it's unmatched for sure based on these grades and based on these pass rates. And these are some of the features of the BSc in IT. Now, this program is globally accessible. It's work applied, accelerated, affordable, and fully accredited. So we're going to look at particularly the first one, which is globally accessible, which we did actually touch on as well. So with the program being globally accessible, you have access to this program all over the world. You get access to the university's online website as well, right? In terms of work applied, this program is absolutely practical in terms of accelerated learning, right? You can get to choose where exactly you start within the program given your previous level of qualifications or possibly even work experience. In terms of affordability, we have reduced rates for you as well. So you wouldn't be paying the standard university rate. You'll be paying a whole lot less based on the special agreement that we have in our partnership with the University of Bedfordshire. And in terms of fully accredited, this bachelor's degree, of course, is internationally recognized. So we're going to look closely at the fully accredited points. So this program is accredited by the Quality Assurance Agency, right? The Quality Assurance Agency, or the QAA, is essentially a body within the UK that acts quite like the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. So it's quite similar to what ACTT is in Trinidad. They're responsible for reviewing and, of course, ensuring that there's a particular standard in the education system, right? And that all universities or schools are absolutely abiding to that standard. All right. So the University of Bedfordshire was subjected to a QAA review and has successfully met the expectations of QAA, right? So there's no problems in terms of credibility. And of course, the University of Bedfordshire is a recognized awarding body by ACTT, right? So there's no problems locally, neither internationally, and not even regionally. There's no problems anywhere with this qualification. And this is essentially what your BSc IT certificate would look like after you complete the program. This is exactly what you would be receiving in addition to your letter and transcript, right? At the end of the program, at the end of level 6 after you complete, all right? In terms of globally accessible, more than 20,000 students from over 120 countries have access to this program, and they're doing it fully online, most likely. There are education partners in China, the Middle East, Europe, Southeast Asia, and Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the University of Bedfordshire, as I would have indicated, they have an online learning environment or a website called Brio, which is available 24/7 from anywhere in the world. Once you become a student at the University of Bedfordshire officially, whether it be through one of their partners like CTS College, you will have access to Brio. And this is where you'll be uploading your assignments or, of course, getting your lecture materials, extra support guides, even access to their library for research materials for your assignments. Student Information Desk is actually available through the University of Bedfordshire. It's actually called the SID, and it's open 24/7 to support students from anywhere in the world. So you have any issues in terms of your student access to Brio or anything in relation to the University of Bedfordshire and you being a student with them, you can actually query those and get help at any point in time. And of course, we here at CTS College, we actually created a shared space for all of our students. Once you become a student with us, yes, you would be getting online access to Brio, but you would also have access to our shared drive because we actually are responsible for delivering the lectures and all of the university materials we would take from Brio, and then of course add our touch to it as well, improving it if possible, and delivering that in each class across the entire program. So we have a lot of lecture notes in addition to what the university provides. We have recordings from previous semesters, and yes, each class is actually recorded given that it's online. We want to ensure that there is a chance that all students, whether you're present or absent, could have the ability to review the session, right? So maybe you would have forgotten something that was discussed in class. You can always refer back to the recording, and we have recordings from previous semesters, right, or previous classes going forward. All right, and you would have access, even though let's say you start at level 4, you would have access to level 5 and level 6 materials through our shared space. All right, and if there's any books or any extra materials, we have tons of books that are available on our shared space as well, totally free of cost. You don't have to purchase anything. It's all there as resources for you when you're researching, writing your assignments as well. All right, so in terms of that, right, we have a lot available for you absolutely free once you become a student with us as well. In terms of practical, right, our program, well, the university's program, I should say, it's developed in such a way that you have the opportunity to solve real IT challenges through the assignments, right? So you get hands-on experience of developing IT systems, programming related assignments, definitely. You get to deliver IT solutions that support a wide range of business functions. You learn to develop systems with excellent design through understanding human-computer interactions required in modern IT systems. What exactly does that mean? How is it practical? Well, this is an example of an assignment that kind of actually leaned a little bit on the practical side. So this student actually had the opportunity to propose a solution for a given business problem. So in their assignment, they selected the public transportation system in Trinidad and Tobago, which is PTSC, right? The PTSC needed a way to actually manage their fleets of bus, right? That travel all the way throughout that they needed a way to actually manage this. Who's going to be responsible for what bus on what particular day, the schedules, the routes as well, right? So this student would have actually proposed an fleet management solution for the public transportation system of Trinidad and Tobago, right, as their assignment. So they basically created an entire proposal and then followed up that proposal with the actual solution. They developed the actual solution later on as well, right? So when we say it's practical and you have the ability to solve real IT challenges, or rather, you have the opportunity to propose IT-based solutions for a given business problem, right? You are fully covered because all, if not all of our assignments, most of our assignments are practical. It's something that you have to build or develop or create or write about. There's a lot of research involved in it as well. So it's not just like an exam that you have to pass. It's on the practical side. It's an actual assignment. It's mostly assignment based. All right. So in terms of our next point, in terms of accelerated, each level consists of 4 units or 4 subjects, right? Which can be done in 2 semesters. A semester is 4 months long, but your 2 semester span is going to be 8 months. So every level is 4 months long. Well, every level, sorry, is 8 months long, and each semester within that level is 4 months long. So you have 2 semesters of 4 months each, right? Which totals up for 8 months for each level. So level 4 is 8 months, level 5 is 8 months, and level 6 is 8 months as well. So that gives you the opportunity to complete your BSc in just over 2 years if you start at level 4. If you start at level 5 or 6, of course, it's going to take you a whole lot less time to complete the program. In terms of affordability, the UOB BSc IT program is one of the more affordable BSc IT programs in Trinidad. And of course, our payment plans make achieving your BSc a financially viable option. And we also partner with institutions such as GMMB to assist students in obtaining student loans. If anyone requires further information on the student loan aspect through GMMB, right, I do have something that I could forward to you as well with respect to this that would allow you to, apply and the steps necessary and all of these things as well, if required. All right. And of course, we have a payment plan proposal for each level for each semester, right? And these are monthly payment plan options, which would be presented a bit later on in the session as well. So we're going to look at particularly how this program is structured. Of course, this program is made up of 3 levels, which we would have mentioned very vaguely in the intro to the actual presentation, but we have 3 levels, level 4, 5, and 6 respectively. Level 4, which is year 1, which consists of 4 units of 4 subjects. It's ideal for CAPE holders or persons with 2 years plus IT work experience, or you can actually possess IT certifications or even 3 years general work experience if you're using CSEC qualifications. So persons straight out of CSEC, right? You may not be able to start directly at level 4. You may need to do the bridging program in order to get the relevant IT certifications, which you can then use to apply, which is kind of like the flow that we would have created for students who came straight out of CSEC. However, if you only possess CSEC qualifications with just general work experience, possibly even 3 years, 2 to 3 years, you can still apply and more than likely you would be accepted, right? So it's not mandatory for everyone to do the bridging program before you start the BSc in IT. It's just simply optional based on your particular scenario. We have something that can assist you in meeting the qualifying standard to start at level 4. If you're looking at starting at level 5, however, it's required that you have some sort of level 4 IT diploma or equivalent, or you can use 2 years IT work experience with a combination of IT certs, right? If you look to start at level 6, which is year 3, the final year of the BSc in IT, you must have an associate's, an HND, or a level 5 IT diploma or equivalent. Or if you don't have those, you can actually use 6 years IT work experience or possibly even 5 years, depending on the title as well, right? So 6 years plus of IT work experience and a combination of IT certs. All right. So these are essentially some of the entry requirements for the program as well. We will revisit this in detail with regards to what you need to supply when you're building your application. All right, so we're going to look at particularly at the structure of each level given like your starting point versus how long it would take you to reach the end point, our semester breaks, everything will be explained in detail. But particularly for this one, we're going to be looking at, students who start directly at level 4 and they're going all the way straight up to level 6. So when you start at level 4, you would have 2 semesters within this level, and both semesters would pretty much be 4 months long, which gives you an 8-month total for level 4. You finish level 4, you head on to level 5, which is again 2 semesters of 4 months each, another 8-month period here to complete level 5. Level 6, again, the same thing, 2 semesters of 4 months each, 8 months to complete level 6. Right, so that's 8 by 8 by 8. And of course, in between each one of these levels, we would have a semester break of 4 months each. So how exactly does this work? If a student starts level 4, they finish their first semester and they finish their second semester, they now have the ability to go on a semester break of 4 months before they begin level 5. And this is actually noted as mandatory for all students. So regardless of, if you want to progress over straight into level 5, it may not be possible. You have to actually go on the semester break. But the university is currently working on a new model for their program as well, which we would have to eventually abide to. That being that they would remove one of the semesters entirely, right? Which means that you would just have 2 semesters per academic year, that being February to May and then October to January the next year. They're gonna have like a huge summer break of 4 months, and that's mandatory for everyone. So there wouldn't be any semester break at that point. It would just be one big summer break for everyone. And that would take effect possibly in the next year or two. Right? That's not going to take effect right now, but they're slowly and surely working towards it so you don't have to deal with that 4-month break here and 4-month break here. But essentially, it may operate the same way, but that's for the future. So if you start at level 4, you complete your first 8 months in the program, you complete your first 2 semesters, right? Before you move on to level 5, you have to go on your semester break. Once you start level 5 after your semester break, you finish your both semesters and you finish your 8 months in level 5. Before you go on to level 6, you must go back on that break. And once you start level 6, you complete. There's no break here. You graduate. All right. So that's the structure for level 4 going straight up to level 6. So essentially, in summary, it takes you 24 months or 2 years of studies. That's 8 by 8 by 8. 8 by 3 is 24. 24 months of studies, which is pretty much 2 years. All right. And then, of course, you have 8 months of break, 4 months here and 4 months here. Right. So that's where we get the 2 years of studies, 8 months. So when a lot of you would have spoken to me before, I would have mentioned that the program takes roughly 2 years, 8 months to complete. only if you start at level 4, and this is why. All right. So what happens if you qualify to start at level 5 instead, right? The model is quite the same, but of course it's going to take you a lot less time. So of course you have 2 semesters of 4 months each for level 5, which is the first 8 months. Then you have level 6, 2 semesters of 4 months each, another 8 months. But in between this, of course, there's the semester break of 4 months. Of course, there's nothing on level 4 because the student is now starting directly at level 5. All right. So once you complete your 2 semesters of 8 months here, you must go on your 4 month semester break before you go on to level 6, right? And then after you complete level 6 and you graduate. All right. And of course, in summary, it's going to take you roughly 16 months of studies, right? Just over a year, and you're going to have 4 months of break. So it takes you roughly just over a year to complete the program, starting directly at level 5. However, if you qualify to start directly at level 6, right? If you qualify to start directly at level 6, it's going to take you just 8 months, and there's no break, right? Because there isn't any prior levels or anything after as well, right? So 4 months of studies, you jump from semester 1 straight into semester 2, and there's no break, all right? So that's just straight up 8 months, and after 8 months, you get your bachelor's degree, all right? So that's the structure of each starting level, varying whether you start at level 4, 5, or 6, how long exactly it would take for you to complete the program, given on where you start. All right, are there any questions or concerns? Okay, so there are questions in the chat as well that I may not have been able to address right away. Okay, so how many IT seats to apply for level 5? That's a good question as well. The thing is, it may actually vary depending on the IT certification. If it's something substantial, for example, like A plus qualification and Net plus, and these are CompTIA certifications, or if you have stuff from Boracom as well, that's absolutely fine. And the thing is, it does not have to be as coming from reputable institutions as well, right? If you have smaller certifications that you would have done, like maybe vocational studies or possibly even something just to add to your resume, these can actually be of great value as well. So it may actually depend on what you have, which, I would typically discuss like a one-on-one with a student. So if you do wish to share with me as well in the chat, that would be really helpful as well, right? But if you want to chat with me afterwards in relation to what you possess and what, you will be using to start at level 5, that's also absolutely fine. I can be reached at 286-0862. All right. So if you have a diploma in computing from SPCS and an A plus certification from you guys, you can start directly at possibly even level 5 or level 6 and complete in 8 months, but it depends on what level, right, the diploma in computing stands at. If it pretty much like would be quite similar to our level 5 qualification, right? You could start directly at level 6. However, if it's kind of similar to our level 4 qualification, you'll be required to start at level 5. So I may need to actually review the qualification as well. If you can't clarify right now, no problem. But definitely, you should be able to start at one of the higher levels, right? It just depends on which level that diploma satisfies, right? So if it satisfies, if it's pretty much equivalent to our level 5, you could start directly at level 6, right? Which I assume is the case, right? Because most of the students who come with like a diploma in computing from SPCS or any other institute as well, right? They particularly would start at level 6 in any case, right? And of course, you have extra IT certifications like the A plus, which would actually serve as a great help in getting you to start at one of the higher levels as well. Right, so no problem. You can get in contact with me as well after this session if you wish to share your particular scenario. You can message me as well. All right. So that's pretty much the structure for the program as we would have discussed. So we're gonna move on during the break periods because this is a big question that a lot of students have. They have this big 4 month period, which pretty much is an entire semester long, that they would essentially not be doing any studies, right? A lot of students appreciate the free time, but a lot of students, see it as time wasted. They want to continue studying, but the challenge is, right, we can't actually allow you because it's against the university standard. What we could allow, though, given that we control the classes, right, we could allow you to sit into the next level of studies. So let's just say you finished your 2 semesters in level 4, right? And you're now on break, and you want to sit into some level 5 classes before you actually officially start class, you can actually do so. And a lot of students, what they do is that they reach out to me, they indicate that I actually want to start classes in advance. So here's what's going to happen. I would allow them to sit into the classes, right? And they can actually start some of their assignments before time, but they wouldn't be submitting it within that semester because they're on break. When they actually start, they've done a lot of work already. So essentially, they can help themselves fast track the assignments ahead of time so they have it prepared for when they actually start. That's one thing that you could do during your break period, and I really, really encourage it. Another thing that you can do within your break period as well with us at CTS College is that we have tons of IT certification courses, right? Tons of stuff. We have CompTIA, web design. We have tons of CompTIA courses as well. Network plus, Silver plus, Security plus. We have a CCNA program. We have web design, we have Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, we have advanced graphic design as well, right? We have video editing classes and a whole lot more. And in addition to those, we also have like courses that relate directly to personal or professional development and business writing skills and all of these as well. Stuff that head into project management, financial management, business writing skills. We have DIY courses as well. So if you don't want to do something that's more academic heavy, you could do something that's a little bit more like a hobby, right? So we have lots of things available for you to do during that break period as well. But the question comes, will I be paying the same price? Not essentially, because students who are on break, particularly for our BSc IT students, we have formulated something special for you all as well. So if you are interested in doing any course at CTS College within that big break period, you can actually get 40% off any course. It doesn't matter which one, whether it's IT or professional development or even DIY, right? You can get 40% off. So if a course particularly costs like 1,500, you can possibly get that for 900, just under $1,000, right? Which is excellent. And the thing is, right, what students do, if they get actually like they get to actually pick some of the content that they would be covering at one of the higher levels, right? For example, web design is covered in level 5. So a level 4 student who just finished level 4 and now is on break, they opt into our web design class, right? Or a web design course, or possibly even another program that could complement what they would be doing in the future levels. So time is not wasted and they get a little bit of insight on how exactly things are done so that when they enter level 5 or the higher level, whatever case it is, right, they have a general idea of the unit or the subjects that they would be studying. They have general knowledge, all right, and they are able to apply that now to their assignments and to classes and stuff like that, or they possibly even their research, all right? So it is very valuable, right? So of course, if you're interested, just reach out to me during your break period and indicate that you would like to do XYZ course, and we'll have the discount applied to you as well. If you want to sit into the classes in advance for your next level of study, no problem. We can facilitate you there as well, right? And if you're interested in any other certification course, you can find them at ctscollege.com/certifications. For a full listing, we have possibly really close to about 100, right? Maybe actually more by now. All right. So what exactly would you learn within the BSc IT program? Which is another big question students would ask. So this is an outline of each level of study what you would be covering. Now there's a lot of networking, there's a lot of database work done at level 4, which is year 1, which is pretty much the foundation level. So you'll be working with Oracle, Java, and Python. Java and Python, you have two programming projects, which are two separate units or subjects, right? The projects are kind of similar in terms of the outcome. You are required to develop a working application or system, right, that operates under a specific set of rules provided by the university, right? So you are building possibly like an application for a hotel or an application for a taxi service or an application for the actual case scenarios provided by the university, and you have to build your application using this programming language around that particular topic. All right. You wouldn't essentially be working with Microsoft Access though. You would be working directly with Oracle, right? So you'll be working with Oracle Apex, which is available on the web in terms of writing SQL code, SQL being the structured query language, and that's used for developing databases, etc. And a lot of work with networking, IP addressing, routing, switching. You actually have networking exams that are done on a Cisco portal, which would give you separate certification as well, right? But this is the only intermediate certification that you would be receiving throughout the program. especially at level 4, right? So when you complete the Cisco unit, well, the networking unit with us at level 4, you would be getting a separate certificate from Cisco indicating that you would have completed XYZ module. You'll be getting a letter as well from Cisco Academy, right? But that's the only intermediate certificate that you'll be getting. So like when you complete level 4, you wouldn't be getting a diploma indicating that you completed level 4, right? You just have to move on to level 5 and then level 6. And at the end of level 6, that's when you'll be getting your final qualification. However, students starting at level 4, they would get this special Cisco um, like certificate, right? Directly from Cisco Networking Academy upon completion of this particular unit, right? Given clarification that they understand IP addressing and routing and switching and all of these things as well. All right, at level 5, you would be covering user experience design, how design would work on different devices. You'll be exploring designs like application design for mobile devices, PC, stuff like that. And you actually get into how software and hardware can work together and how to develop systems securely by designing by using different design approaches, and of course testing software, the methods involved in doing so, etc. All right. And you also would be preparing yourself for the interview room and assisting yourself in mapping out a possible career path. And this is a separate unit called the IT Employability Project that's actually done with the university. And they included this unit. And I think it's a lovely addition to the bachelor program because not a lot of students actually consider what they will be doing after they finish the program. So this unit actually assists students in developing a full IT career path for themselves, essentially revolving around a 10-year objective, right? So you would have a 1 to 4 year plan, a 5 to 9 year plan, and then that would eventually help you meet the 10-year objective. All right. So at level 6, you would be conducting independent learning through project work, research techniques on new technologies. So there's a lot of project management. There's an entire unit surrounding project management at level 6, IT project management, that is. There's a lot of programming in level 6 as well, right? Even in level 5 includes a lot of stuff around like web development. You would be working with PHP, HTML scripting languages like HTML, CSS, right? And you would be working with JavaScript, right, at level 5. But at level 6, that the you would be doing a lot of these again. However, it's at a much higher level. In fact, your final project at the end of level 6 would be an e-commerce solution. We're encouraging students to build an e-commerce solution as well, right? Because that's essentially what the university expects you to do at the end of the program, right? And we have programming classes that directly relates and helps you to develop this as well, right? So you have the ability to produce a completely working software artifact and accompanying technical reports. You get to improve your project management abilities and design an interactive software prototype. So there's a lot of prototyping, which kind of carries down from level 5 because level 5, the prototyping, the whole idea of prototyping as well as introduced at level 5, then at level 6, it's solidified in your final project. All right. And then, of course, you would be working with a lot of user experience design emphasis using Azure, right? So that's essentially what you would be focusing on at each level in terms of the projects or the learning outcomes, right? But it's a lot of programming that would take place all the way throughout this entire program. A lot of writing, a lot of report writing, right? There are group projects as well, right? Particularly for the bigger programming projects at level 4, there's two group projects or group assignments, which would be for the Java and Python programming assignments. And of course, at level 5, there's a unit called Systems Development Modern Database Practices, which essentially you're required to work on Oracle Apex to develop an application as well and database, and that requires group work as well. At level 6, there's a project management module, right? That also requires you to work in groups because you are developing and managing a project. Therefore, you would need an entire development team, which is a need for the group work. All right. So yes, there are group projects, but they are kept at minimal, right? There are very little exams. In fact, level 4 would have the most amounts of exams, but even though there are exams in level 4, right, they don't really count for much. In fact, most of the exams would count for only 30% of the entire module, whereas the projects like Java and Python programming projects and anything that you have to actually write and develop would be weighted a lot more, possibly even as 70% of the entire subject or module. So the exams are kept at minimal, and even even though they are kept at minimal in terms of the number of exams that you have to write, the marks for them overall, it does not count for a lot in terms of the units overall. All right. So the exams are kept at minimal, the group assignments are kept at minimal. It's a lot more practical. There's a lot more that programming that you have to do, and a lot more writing and development. All right. So these are actually a showcase of some of the projects that students were able to complete. This is actually a prototype of a digital wallet that a student created as well, right? I can't remember at which level or who the student is, right? But this is their actual project. Now, this is the login screen for their digital wallet. This is the actual homepage, and this is on the web, I believe, or I think it's actually like a downloadable client, right? They have package, right? And this is the digital wallet. And they actually created a prototype, only a prototype though, for mobile devices as well. And this is what it would look like. Another student actually created an online store, right? So this is basically web-based, right? And of course, they called it Craft 868. It's an online store selling craft items, right? Art and craft supplies and stuff like that. So you can actually see some of the features. There's actually like stuff that you may be interested in. So there's an entire listing of things that you may actually want to purchase, the pricing, the ratings as well, right? And this, of course, I believe is your cart. So you have the ability to add items to carts. It operates as like almost identical to your typical online store, such as Amazon, eBay, etc. Right? So you can add items to your cart, you could check out, you pay for your stuff online, it's actually delivered to you. And they actually took the liberty of implementing a chatbot. So you have the ability to get assistance if you require any help while you're shopping using this online service as well, which is excellent, right? And they also created the back end of the application, or the web application, sorry, that allow admin, like they created an entire admin panel where an administrator can have like basically edit the front end of the page, so they can add items, categories, brands, coupons, special offers, and essentially they can log in, log out. So core functionality on the back end as well, right? And this required a lot of effort. And this is actually one of the level 6 projects. And it's just one of, there's so many excellent projects as well that I can't spend all of my time sharing them with you, but definitely you would be amazed to actually see some of the things that students are actually able to produce at the end of level 6. It's amazing, right? So yeah, so you have to pass both courses and work on the final exam, the marks. Okay, so let me just revisit this question here. So you have to pass both courses, both coursework and the final exam. The marks don't add up. All right, so I'm not quite sure. Okay, so basically how it works is that you have for each subject, right? So every semester for 4 months, you have 2 units that you're going to be doing, right? And each unit or each subject has 2 assessments, right? One may be an exam, one may be an actual project, right? Now, the exam, if there are any exams, the exam would be weighted as 30% of the subject, and the practical assignment would be weighted 70%. So that's 100% for the units, right? So that's how the marks are allocated. The exam would be 30%, and the actual project would be 70% of the module or the subject, right? So that's how it would add up. And of course, for the second subject that you're doing within that semester, it's quite the same, right? And the exams are actually your assignment one, pretty much, and that's pretty much due within the first two, like 1.5 months or 2 months within the semester. And your final project is due by the end of the semester, or the bigger projects are due by the end of the semester. All right? Yeah. No problem. So that's how the marks are actually developed. Well, that's how the marks are allocated. For each subject, you have 2 assignments, and each assignment is weighted differently. So your exam is weighted less and your practical assignment is weighted more. But not in every semester, there's going to be an exam. In some semesters, there's actually a written assignment that basically covers 30%, right? But your assignment one in any case would be weighted 30, and the second assignment would be weighted 70%, because that's usually the larger assignments, right? And that it requires a lot more time to work on. So that will be due by the end of the semester. All right, cool, no problem. So in relation to how you can fit this BSc in IT into your life, right? We have basically 2 semesters, so 2 intake periods per year. We do have a June semester as well. However, the June semester would soon be removed, as we discussed, and eventually it would just be 2 semesters per academic year. But for the time being, if you are a level 4 applicant and you're looking to start in June, you may not be able to start in June. You would need to start in October. in, like given the case where the university wants to remove the June semester, what they have started doing is reducing the amount of students that are able to start in June. So they remove the ability for all level 4 applicants to start in June, in the June semester for this year. Next year, no level 4 or level 5 students will be able to start in June. And the year after that, there would be no intake period for June. It would still exist as a semester, but no new students will be able to start in June at all. So you would need to apply for either February or October, starting now, as a matter of fact. But for this particular year, this academic year, right? If you're looking to start at level 4, you would need to apply for the October semester. If you're starting at one of the higher levels, which being level 5 or level 6, you could start in June, right? So any level 4 applicants for this year, you have to start in October if you're looking to start. However, if any level 5 or level 6 applicants apply, they have a chance at starting either in June or October. So they have that ability as well. All right. And in the following years, it would also change as well. Right. But that's just only for this academic year. So again, right, if you're looking to start in June, right, and you're a level 4 student, that would not be possible. You need to start in October, given the change that the university is now trying to implement. Right. If you are starting at level 5 or level 6, you could start in June or October. Right. So just to sum that up for you guys there. Now, in terms of the unit or the subject delivery, each class within this program is pretty much 2 hours long, right? And you would have pretty much like maybe 3 or 4 classes per week, depending on the module or the level, right? And each unit or each subject is assessed typically by 2 to 3 assignments, right? So you'd have assignment 1 or assignment 2. Primarily, the assignment 1 is with 30%, the assignment 2 is with 70% for the unit. And a semester is roughly 15 weeks long, pretty much 4 months, right? And you would have like a 2-week break at the end of each semester. This is not to be confused with the bigger semester break of 4 months. Now, in between level from level 4 to level 5 or level 5 to level 6, that's where the big semester break would be. But let's just say you're within a level, right? You're traveling within a level from semester to semester. You just finished your first semester, you're moving on to your second semester within the same level, right? There would be like a 2-week interval, right, at the end of the semester. So once you submit your final assignment for that particular unit for that semester, you can consider yourself pretty much finished until the next semester begins, which is pretty much like 2 to 3 weeks after, right? So then you would resume your studies at your second semester. When you finish both semesters for the level and you're trying to move on to your next level of study, that's when the bigger break, the 4-month break, would come into play. All right. And this is like a draft of the timetable for the June to September 2023 semester, but this is actually scheduled to possibly change, right? This may actually change. All right. So coming closer to the actual start date of the semester, possibly like probably a week or two before, we would issue the final copy to you all once we have it finalized. All right. So you can stay tuned for that as well. And if you didn't receive it, feel free to reach out to us and we'll gladly send it to you. But once you're accepted by the university after you would have applied, right, all of this information would be relayed directly to you via email, or it would be messaged to you as well via WhatsApp. Or if you make contact with me, right, I'll be more than happy to explain to you how exactly it works. But essentially, students starting at level 4, you may have 2 to 3 classes per week. You could actually see like the typical class times and days are like during the week. If it's during the week, it's going to be in the afternoon. If it's on a Saturday, it's going to be in the earlier half of the Saturday, not in the afternoon. So classes would start as early as 8 a.m. Some classes might be 8:30 to 12:30. You may have some afternoon classes, but no nighttime classes on a weekend. Nighttime classes are only on weekdays from like any day from Monday to Friday. And these afternoon classes may typically basically be around like 6:30 to 8:30 or 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. But all classes are 2 hours long and every class is recorded. All right. So what support is available at CTS College? Well, of course, at CTS College, you have face-to-face and phone support, so course advisors, academic support, and administrative. In terms of online support, you have support through the online student portal, which is Brio, and you have access to their online library. You can actually get access to their journals, readings, past papers, and complementary resources. In addition to what we also have provided on our local shared drive as well for our students, you can find resources from the university's website and get access to the university's online library once you become a student with them as well, right? And these are resources that you don't have to pay membership for, right? Once you're a student, you would have access to their online library without membership. You being a student, there is literally the membership, right? So there's nothing extra that you'll have to pay to get resources off their site or off their libraries. All right. In terms of like the BSc IT team, in terms of student support, right, we provide you with information, help, assistance, guidance, competence, solution, direction, and even general advice if required, right? So if you need extra assistance with your assignments, right, whether it be one-on-one or in a classroom setting, we have absolutely no problem to do that for you as well, right? And that comes at no additional cost. It's all inclusive once you clear your tuition fees for your semester, right, or for your level, right? That's something that we take very seriously at CTS College, because most of you speak with any student who would have done a program at CTS College, most of their experiences would have been absolutely, like seamless in terms of the support, right, that they would have received on their assignment. So like if they simply did not understand something in class, our lecturers go the extra mile just to ensure that you understand as well, right? So it's not that you pay for BSc IT program, you sit into classes, and if you attend the classes, that's up to you, right? And if you do the assignments, that's up to you. No, there's a lot of hand holding and guidance all the way throughout your journey as well. So if there's something that you don't understand or you require extra assistance for, rather, right? I strongly recommend that you reach out to us, you call us, you chat with us, you email us, you reach out, right? So that's the only way that we'll be able to provide that extra helping hand to you. And it's not a problem, no additional cost if you need one-on-one sessions. And I'm primarily responsible for that level of student support at level 4 and level 5, and Aaron is primarily responsible for that at level 6. All right. So there's persons dedicated to help you. And there's a second level of reach after you contact your lecturer and you didn't really get the help that you feel like you needed. You can request online help from me or Aaron in a one-to-one basis as well. All right. And we also have an Instagram page, and this is something that we do every semester for our students. So yes, we try to simulate the best possible academic experience, but that's not essentially, everything in terms of thing. We also want to create an experience that is unmatched. And in order to do so, we have lots of events for our students. In fact, there's an event for our currently enrolled students that we have in planning for mid-May, right? Which is actually like we take students on outings if they want to go. It's pretty much like a field trip kind of thing or a meetup, right? So we would have this every semester or so that we can actually get to interact, the lecturers get to interact with the students on a face-to-face basis, given that the program is online. And throughout your journey here, you'll be getting a lot of peers, a lot of persons you're going to meet in this program. I can assure you that, right? Given that that's the case, we want to provide an opportunity for you to meet and greet these persons as well. So every semester we would host promotions or possibly even meetups as well, right? And once we have these, we'll post them out to students. And our most recent giveaway we hosted on our BSc IT Instagram page, and it was actually like stuff for like free movie tickets or discounts on tuition, really big discounts on tuition, like thousands of dollars in discounts on tuition. All right. So a lot of students would have participated, and it's essentially like really, really simple stuff that we asked them to do. In fact, on our Instagram page, if you even scroll through right now, you would actually see like lots and lots of comments from our currently enrolled students and our past students as well, who would have already completed, leaving comments such as these, right? So we get lots of positive student feedback as well, even from past and current students. And I really plead to you as well, once you become a student, take part in these things, right? You're not going to regret it. In terms of induction, because induction is an important part of the kickstarting the semester kind of thing. So you are introduced to the course and the structure. You have referencing guidelines, an entire session dedicated to referencing, because it's such a big part of the entire, how to say, the entire academic experience. The university actually has a standard in terms of referencing. What exactly is that? Is that essentially when you conduct research for one of your papers that you would be writing for your assignments, right? You more than likely will be using stuff that's already existing online, but you can't just simply steal their work and use it as your own. That's plagiarism. There's a specific way that you must be referencing and citing, giving credit to the actual owner or the actual creator of said document or piece of research. And there's specific ways to do that according to the university standards. So we have an entire session for new students, and it's part of induction. Right, so we would have a session on a Saturday that would introduce you to the program, and we would also have a referencing session that's done after the first session, which is also part of the induction. It's mandatory that all students, all new students, attend both sessions. All right. And you also have the ability to gain useful study tips and skills once you attend these sessions as well. And while the academic writing workshop, which is pretty much the referencing guidelines workshop, is done soon after the formal welcome is done. All right. So how exactly would you be assessed? You would be assessed in a variety of ways, most of which includes coursework, group and individual projects, portfolios, essays, presentations, and exams. The exams are kept at minimal, as we would have discussed, but there's lots of coursework, lots of group and individual projects and programming projects. Some portfolios, there's probably only like 2 or 3 essays in the entire program as well, and these are all research-based as well. And of course, if you require any reviews, we do reviews absolutely free as well. So if you require a review, you can post your assignment to us at BSc at CTS College, and we, in addition to our lecturers, would provide you with an in-depth review of all the work that you would have produced based on our experience with the subject area as well, right? In terms of passing and progressing, what is required for you to pass a unit or a subject? To pass a unit, you must attempt all of the assignments. If you don't attempt the assignment, it's an automatic fail or an automatic 0, right? So that means if you don't submit an assignment by the deadline, you automatically fail the assignment, right? If you submit, you're good to go. To pass a unit, you must gain an aggregate grade, or basically a total grade of 40% or over, right? So your assignment 1 and your assignment 2, the 30% assignment and the 70% assignment, depending on the grades of both of those, once you add them up, they must exceed 40% in order for you to pass the unit, right? Anything under that is considered marginal fail. To progress between levels from level 4 to level 5 or level 5 to level 6, you must at least pass 3 subjects with a grade of 40% or over, right? And you, in the subjects that you didn't do so well, and you must have at least scored 35% in the remaining units, right? So if you would have passed 3 of your units, and in one of them you wouldn't have performed so well, in order for you to progress on to the next level, you'd only be allowed to do so if the other unit that you didn't do so well in, if you scored at least 35 overall, you would be allowed to progress. If you didn't score 35% overall, you would need to repeat that unit at an additional cost. However, we at CTS College would waive tuition for you, and all you'll be required to do is pay the university fees for that unit as well. Right, so we would waive tuition given that you would have already sat into the classes, right? So there's no sense in you paying over tuition. All you need to do is re-register with CTS College for that semester, which is $500 and pay a university fee for taking over the assessments, which is typically in, like, if you're taking over level 4, level 5 units, £150. And if you're taking it over at level 6, it's £375 for the units. All right, so it all depends. If you fail an assignment, however, you are given a free attempt to retake the assignment in the next available semester. And the assessment that you have to do over wouldn't really particularly change. Sometimes they will give a new assessment for you to retake, right? In some cases, or in most cases, it's the same assignment. So if you fail the same assignment twice, you fail it the first time, right? You are given the referral attempt, and you fail the referral attempt, you fail the unit, and that's why you would have to pay to retake. If you fail the assignment the first time, you are given a free opportunity to retake it in a different semester, and you can submit it. Once it's marked and you pass, you're good to go, right? And you're allowed to progress. However, if you fail that referral assignment, the free attempt, you would have to pay, right? So it's only fair at the end of the day, and rarely ever we have students failing assignments or need to actually retake a unit. Maybe 1 or 2 students or 3 students for the most per academic year, or over the course of 3 semesters, would fail a unit and would actually need to retake it, right? So these cases are very, very, very minimal because of the excellence of the support that we have to offer at CTS College during the lectures or one-on-one support if required. And this is proof of how we would typically, like, how our students would perform at the end of the program as well. So this is our award classification. For first class honors, it's an average of 70% or more. The upper second range would range from 60 to 69. Lower second would range from 50 to 59, and third class honors being 40 to 49%. right? In our recent results in February 2022, we would have scored 43 first class honors, which is essentially our entire class at level 6 got first class honors, which is excellent, right? Our June 2022 semester, we got 31 students with first class honors and one student with an upper second. Based on these here, we can actually see that majority of our students, right, would score first class honors and upper seconds. Rarely ever we have a lower second to a third class honors, which is excellent. What resources would you require, given that this program is fully online for the time being, right? Now, if you are required to take face-to-face classes, because we actually have discussed with ACTT as well as the University of Bedfordshire in many instances of probably returning to offering a face-to-face option for students to choose, right? Given that the COVID-19 scenario has now pretty much subsided, right? Not entirely, but it's getting a lot better, right? So given that this is the case, they'd have discussions with us in terms of offering a face-to-face class or a face-to-face option, but the student would have the option to choose whether they want online or face-to-face upon registration. So if that is the case, we actually have access to Wi-Fi for all our students. We have core textbooks and we have an entire library on our campus as well, right, for research materials, and we have our shared space, which was mentioned earlier. However, if you're taking online classes, you must have access to Wi-Fi and you must have a computer. Specifications for a machine don't really isn't really required, right? They like most machines that students use, like your typical something that you could find at Courts or your regular tech store, should be totally fine. But it's actually recommended that you have at least like a 7th gen processor with at least 4 gigs of RAM, probably an HDD drive of 500 gigs, or probably a like a 512 SSD, 512 gigabyte SSD or something like that, right? So it's nothing on the higher end in terms of like completing your programming assignments as well. Any typical laptop or desktop should be able to perform all of these as well. So it's not not processing heavy or anything like that. You don't need to go boost your pocket to actually get a really high performance computer in order to do the BSc in IT. Any typical machine should be able to work, right? So there's no particular specifications as required for completing your BSc in IT. All right. Oh, all right. So that's actually a good question. Operating systems, they may actually require, because most of the projects and the applications that we use are only available for Windows or Linux, right? But not essentially Mac. But not a lot of our students actually has Mac OS or uses a MacBook or anything like that. Only maybe like about 2 or 3 students have interacted for like the past 3 semesters on a Mac. So we do have alternatives though. Like if it's like a programming project, and most of the software that we use for that project would be like Windows, we actually have like alternative applications that you can use, can still get the job done on Mac OS or Linux if you use it. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, at the same time, if you already have a MacBook, it really wouldn't make much of a difference, because we have a lot of alternative software that still gets the job done, right? Which is most important. Completing the assignment is most important, right? So we have free alternatives that you can use, and we would provide the software. You don't have to pay for it. Everything that's, once you clear your tuition, your university fees, you don't have to pay anything extra for software or books or anything like that. No problem. But it's fine, because I know persons have their preference, and if you have Windows machine, no problem. If you have Mac OS, no problem. If you run Linux or Unix or whatever, no problem as well. All right. Where exactly would you graduate? Now, this is a big question for students as well. The graduation ceremony, after completing all of those long nights of studying, right? It's really, it's really important for students that they have the best possible graduation. So what options are there available for you after you finish the program, you're ready to graduate? There's 2 options. There's graduation ceremony directly with the University of Bedfordshire, which is held in the UK at all of the campuses of the University of Bedfordshire in the UK as well. So you can fly across, you can graduate, but that flight is not sponsored, it's not paid for. That comes out of your own pocket. That's one. Also, you'll be graduating with persons that you don't really know. You'll be surrounded by a lot of like face-to-face, like persons who attend face-to-face classes in the UK, right? On campus, you'll be meeting a lot of those persons, which may not be desirable. So a lot of our students would attend our graduation ceremony, which is held maybe the first or the second Sunday every December every year. And that graduation ceremony takes place in the Hyatt Regency Hotel in the Port of Spain. All right. And that's held every year. And a lot of students who attend our graduations, I actually had a couple of students who attended the graduation ceremony in the UK. They said it was fine, but they felt as though that, they graduated, they attended a ceremony with persons that they had no idea who they were, etc. So it was a lot more comfortable graduating with CTS College. They had some students attended both, right? They did their graduation ceremony across at the UK, and then they came back to Trinidad as well. And they attended the graduation ceremony with CTS College in Port of Spain as well. And they preferred the one offered by CTS College, given that they were surrounded by students that they knew, they were surrounded by academic staff that they also knew as well. So their lecturers and even the program staff like myself, Aaron, and Ravi as well. So they would have been exposed to persons who they knew, which made it a lot more comfortable for them. But the choice is yours. And of course, closer to the graduation ceremony date, once you complete the program, you would receive the formal invitation from the University of Bedfordshire directly to your student email account, right? But of course, we would have ours as well, and we would make you knowledgeable of when ours would be held as well, right? But if you wish to attend theirs, you have to follow um their guide on how you can actually fly across, the date and stuff like that. All right. In terms of your, like, how exactly do you qualify? We're going to revisit the entry requirements. So again, if you look to enter at level 4, which is year 1, right, you should possess any one of the following, which would be at least 2 years IT work experience, key passes, any previous tertiary level qualification or IT certifications. You must supply um, if you're looking to use CSEC, you must apply work experience together with your CSEC at least 2 to 3 years with work experience. And if you also have IDC certifications as well, you could throw those in. Now, this is ideal for persons who have some IT work experience or have K passes or a tertiary level qualification, or mature candidates with at least 3 years work experience. And the evidence required to support your application would be your job letter, your academic certificates, your IT certifications, a copy of your ID or passport, not both, either one, ensure that they are not expired. All right. Driver's license or permit would not be acceptable as a valid form of ID by the University of Bedfordshire. Not quite sure why, but they prefer national ID or passport, something a bit more credible. All right. And also a copy of your resume, right? So these are all supporting evidence given the particular scenario, the qualifications that you would be using, right? You need to support this evidence in addition to completing the application form, right? So for level 5, these are the qualifications required. So either one of these, a level 4 IT diploma or IT qualification or equivalent, right? You can also supply key passes with at least 2 years IT work experience, or you could have a combination of IT work experience, at least 2 years, academic and or professional qualifications as well. Right, and this is ideal for someone who has previously completed a level 4 IT qualification, certificate, or diploma program qualification, or persons with a combination of IT work experience and certifications, right? So the evidence, again, required to support your application is quite the same. Copy of your job letter, academic certifications, professional certifications, copy of your ID or passport, and a copy of your resume. I'm seeing a question in chat. Let me just address this really quickly. No. Okay, so here's the thing with the University of Bedfordshire and these CAPE qualifications and CSEC qualifications. Now, they don't look at the subjects particularly. They look at the qualification, meaning that they would look at the fact that they would bypass the fact of how many subjects as well as the grade for each subject. They would bypass that, indicating that, okay, well, this student would have achieved secondary level education if they present a CSEC qualification. Same with CAPE, right? The student would have had A-level qualifications, right? So they don't look particularly at the subject and the grade for each one and the proficiency, stuff like that. They would look at the qualification overall, right? So they wouldn't look at the subject. So if you don't have IT for CSEC, no problem. If you don't have IT at CAPE level, no problem. Once you have Unit 1 or Unit 2 in CAPE or just CSEC qualifications, regardless of the subject or the marks or whatever, right? You should be able to use that certificate to add to your application and you should be accepted, right? But the only thing is you have to present that official certificate issued to you, not through the grade portal online. That is not acceptable. You must present the official certificate or result slip. All right. Cool. So for your level 6 qualification, sorry, you must possess any one of the following: a level 5 diploma in HND or an associate's degree or in IT with a combination of work experience at least 4 years, or you could supply academic and/or professional qualifications. And this is ideal for persons who have completed a level 5 IT qualification, such as the diploma, HND, or associate's degree, and persons with extensive IT work experience who also possesses IT qualifications as well can also apply. The evidence again is quite the same. Copy of your job letter, academic certifications, copy of your professional certifications, copy of your ID or passport, and a copy of your resume. All right, no problem. Cool. So how exactly do you apply? Now, you have to complete the application form. We can assist you in filling out the form as well. So the form can actually be filled out online, digitally. It's actually in PDF file format. And once we send it to you, you can actually type into the field. So there's no need to print it, actually write on it and then scan it and send it back to us. What you can do is just simply type into the fields, right? You will need to submit a copy of your cover letter, CV or resume and ID. Submit a letter of like from your employer confirming the job title and the duration in that position, right? The duration of employment within that position, and the letter should clearly specify that it is a position. And this is particularly only for persons who would be using work experience to support their application. So if your application is more qualification based, right? You're not supplying any work experience as well to support it, right? That's not a problem. You don't really require the job letter. However, if you're working within the IT sector and that's a big factor for you into getting into this program, then the job letter is required. Now, nothing on the salary side is required. It's only required that you indicate, the letter must indicate that you you would have worked within this particular position for XYZ amount of years. The salary aspect is not a concern of the university, it's just the duration, the title, and it must be a clear indication that it is a position, right? And of course, you supply a copy of your transcripts and certificates and a copy of your IT certifications as well. And all of these would be serving as supporting documents for your application. All right. In terms of the application process, because how exactly does it work? After you apply, what are the steps between applying and starting? So the first step, of course, is the application itself, right? So you start off with your application. The student applies via the application form. You supply the supporting documents, your cover letter, your qualifications, whatever, right? Then you send that to CTS College. So what we would do is we would actually review your application. If you're missing any documents, we would ask you to supply them, right? And if you have to essentially wait on them, we would still send the application. But once you get your qualifications and stuff like that, like for example, a student would have recently completed a diploma program and they haven't gotten the actual certificate for it as yet, but they wanted to apply and start. So we would send the application, noting that the student is awaiting the actual certification. Once we get the certification from them, we would then update the application again by sending that certificate for the application, right? So once we compile it, we would send it off to the university, after which we await feedback from the university in the form of an acceptance letter. Now, once we get that acceptance letter or letter of offer, as the university calls it, right, the student would have to indicate whether they are ready to start or whether they are going to defer to a future semester. So you have the option of choosing where you like to start even after you apply and you're accepted, right? So you have the power to indicate, well, I don't want to start in June, I want to start in October, but I'm accepted right now, so I could defer, right? So if you defer, no problem, right? Your acceptance letter is valid for 1 academic year and 1 academic year only. So you have to use it within that academic year. If you don't, you can always reapply. And given that you were accepted before, you will be accepted again. So it's not a problem. Apart from that, right, once you choose to start on the date shown or start in the nearest possible semester, right, only then would you be liable for fees, right? So once you get the acceptance letter and you say that, yo, I want to start in June right away, no problem, but that's when you will be liable for fees. So after you indicate that you would like to start, we would advise you to start making payments towards your fees so that we can finalize registration with the university, after which we would add you to our WhatsApp groups, all right, for each level of study, because we have WhatsApp groups which would serve as our classroom environment for students to interact for the time being until we could find a much better platform for you all to interact on. right? And once we add you there, we add you to our class system, we get you ready for induction, after which follows your first class on June the 10th, 2023. All right. So this is the application process from start to finish, right? And this is essentially what you would be undergoing. So where exactly are you in this process right now? Well, right now you are in the application phase, right? So when exactly do I have to send my application to CTS College? Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You have until next week, Friday, and I'm indicating for this whether you're starting in October or June. You could send in your application, get it approved early, right? Gives you a lot more time to consider what exactly you're going to do, because the application process is free, doesn't cost you anything. The only time you have to pay fees is essentially when you're ready to start, which is later down the line once you're accepted, right? And even if you are accepted, right, you have the ability of choosing where you want to start. So it's all the way free until the acceptance point, right? So there's nothing to fear in terms of fees. Now, on the note of fees, how exactly much does this program cost, right? In terms of the full cost for the entire program, it's going to cost you roughly 54,000 to 56,000 TT. That's inclusive of the pounds, which are of course the university fees, right, outlined here, right? And we have the CTS registration and tuition fees. So let me break this down for you guys, semester by semester, level by level, right? So we have three levels: level 4, level 5, level 6. In each level, we would have 2 semesters, which consist of 4 units. You only study 2 units per semester, right? So you complete semester 1 of 2 units and semester 2 of 2 units. That's how we get the 4 units in total per level. All right. So is that clear for everyone? I'm hoping that's clear for everyone. So I could say that one more time for you all. We have 3 levels to the program. Each level takes you 8 months to complete. The 8 months consist of 2 semesters, which are 4 months each. And in each semester, you would be studying 2 subjects, 2 modules, or 2 units, right? Which brings the total amount of units or subjects that you study per level to be 4, right? You have 2 semesters, and each semester you're studying 2 units. So for the entire level, it's going to be 4 units in total, or 4 subjects in total. And that's standard across each level. Each level has 4 subjects that you have to complete. All right. So now that we have that out of the way, how much does each level cost? Well, here's the thing. For this semester, and you have 2 semesters per level, right? Each semester you would have to pay a registration fee and tuition fees as well. So the registration fee per semester is 500 TT dollars, right? So for both semesters in level 4, 500 by 2, that's 1,000 TT dollars in registration for level 4, 5, and 6 respectively. As you can see, the registration fee does not change at all, regardless of the level. What does change though would be the tuition fees and the university fees as we progress, right? So at level 4, right, we charge our tuition per unit or per subject. So you have 4 units here, right? It's $2,000 per unit. So 2,000 by 4, that's going to be 8,000 TT dollars. So 1,000 from registration for the entire level plus 8,000 in tuition, that's 9,000 TT. Right, 9,000 TT in CTS registration and tuition, which is payable over the course of 8 months or 1 level. And of course, we have the university fee, which must be paid in accordance to the TT fee. So this must be cleared throughout the semester as well, right? So the standard rate is kind of simply calculated just the way that we will calculate our tuition, right? So it's charged per module, and it's 150 pounds per module, 1,500 TT per module, which is a lot less than our tuition as well, right? So 150 pounds per unit, and you're studying 4 units, which is 600 pounds or 6,000 TT dollars. So roughly, right, 9,000 TT, 600 pounds for level 4. Level 5, the registration remains the same, 500 per semester, 1,000 TT for both semesters. The tuition, however, raises by $250 as it was in level 4, right? So now it's $2,250. We multiply that by 4 units, we get 9,000 TT. Plus that registration fee for both semesters, it's 10,000 TT, right? For level 5 in CTS registration and tuition. The university fee remains at 150 pounds as it was in level 4. And we multiply that by 4 years, we get 600 pounds. So 10,000 TT in CTS registration and tuition, 600 pounds for the university. All right. So that's roughly 16,000 TT in total for registration, tuition, and university fee. At level 6, however, The registration fee remains the same, 500 per semester, 1,000 for both semesters in total. The tuition rises again from what it was in level 5. It goes up by another $250. So it's now $2,500 per module. We multiply that by the 4 years you do at level 6, that's 10,000 TT. So 10,000 TT in tuition plus 1,000 for registration for both semesters would be 11,000 TT in CTS registration and tuition. Also, the semester fees for the the university exam fees would go up. So in level 4 and level 5 is £150. At level 6 is £375 per modules, given that this is the final year and students start directly here. There's lots of extra support required and a lot more projects that you would be working on. And of course, this is the level after which you'll be achieving your bachelor's degree. So it's going to be the most costly, right? So this year we multiply that by 4 modules, and that's going to be £1,500, so 15,000 TT if you calculate it, right? So 11,000 TT in registration and tuition for CTS college and £1,500 for the university at level 6. So that's how we really come up with the $54,450 total in TT when we estimate it. And that's anywhere between 54K and 56K, because the thing is, the university fees, when you go to purchase funds, the rate fluctuates. So what we did is we calculated at the highest possible rate, which got us 56,000. We also calculated at the lowest possible rate, which would pretty much sum up to be 54,450. Or it may actually be lower depending on the time that you purchase your pounds. All right. So it would not cost you any more for 56,000 TT in total for your CTS registration, tuition, and the university fee when we calculated the highest estimated, but the highest possible total estimated, right? So this entire fee is payable over the course of the entire program, 2 years, 8 months, right? So what does the monthly payment plan look like for each level? We're actually going to get to that next, all right? So this is only if you start at level 4. This is the total estimated cost if you start at level 4, right? Of course, if you start at level 5 or level 6, the cost is going to decrease. The time is going to decrease as well for completion, right? So let's have a look at what your monthly payment plan structure would look like. So this is the cost of the BSc IT at level 4. Remember that total we just came up with, 9,000 TT, £600. That's your goal at the end of the level, right? But we have set intermediate goals per semester. So your semester total, when we divide this in half, would be 4,500 TT and £300 each semester that you have to pay at the end of semester 1 and 2. So this is the plan that we formulated for you all. In your first semester, semester 1, the start of this semester, your first month, right? You have to clear your registration fee at the start. Your tuition fee payment would be 1,000 TT and you pay £150. So your first payment, right, would be 1,500 TT and £150. So roughly $3,000 to kickstart at the first month, which isn't bad considering a lot of other programs offered and their monthly payment plans as well. I've actually looked at a couple of them and they exceed 4,000, 5,000 for like your down payment, right? But your down payment with us, it doesn't really exceed 3,000, right? It's actually it could be a little bit less given that, you purchase pounds at a lower rate. So it's going to be around $3,000, right? And for the remainder of the program, for your second and your third month and your fourth month for your semester, your payments could look like $1,000 and £150, then $1,000 here and $1,000 here, because you cleared off your £150, £150 here, right? Which would meet the total of £300, 4,500 TT. If you're not satisfied, although, with paying the university fees at month 1 and month 2, there's space here in month 3 and month 4, so you can clear that later on if you wish to, right? Or you can actually shift these payments down as well, your TT payments as well, while you focus on the university. So when we say flexible, this is actually a proposal for you to follow. It's not actually what the plan is. If you're not satisfied with working under this plan, we have separate plans that we would develop on a one-to-one basis with you as well, whether it be over the phone, or we can actually have it documented and sent to you as well, so you would know exactly how much you should be paying by the end of each month. Because I know persons would not only be paid monthly, there are persons who are paid weekly and fortnightly as well. So if you need a special plan for you in order to meet your semester total and your level total and clear your tuition in a timely manner, we can formulate special plans for you. But basically, right, the same structure for your first semester is the same structure for your second semester, right? So you have your monthly fees paid, 1,000 in tuition every month for 4 months, right? You clear your registration fee at the earlier stages on your tuition for the university, the pounds, sorry, for the university, right? You clear that as early as possible, right? And you should meet your total. And at the end, sorry, of level 4, right? You should be achieving 4,500 TT, 300 pounds, right? Which totals up to 9,000 TT, 600 pounds at the end, right? So you meet your level goal, you meet your semester goal, but this is just a proposal of what it could look like. If you need something specialized, no problem. The actual same, like an identical model is utilized for level 5 and level 6 as well. However, the tuition that you pay each month may increase at level 5. So where it was 1,000 per month in level 4, it's going to be 1,125 per month at level 5. And at level 6, of course, it's going to increase again. So 1,250. Right. And of course, the university fees goes up as well. So your monthly total may differ depending on the level, right? And the semester total may differ as well. But once you follow the structure, you should be achieving your semester figure and eventually achieving your level figure at the end of it. Right. So again, if you're not comfortable with what you're seeing on screen for level 5 and level 6, or possibly even level 4, reach out to me. We have no problem formulating something that's special for you. All right. All right, so we did indicate that persons who attend the information session basically would be qualifying for a special offer. So what exactly is that special offer? The special offer is a chance of getting $1,000 total off your tuition fees per level, right? So essentially you get $250 off each unit. So you get 500 off your semester in our tuition fees. We can't really touch the university fees, so this will be taken out from your tuition fees. Now, essentially, there are special conditions that apply. These special conditions are, right, you must submit your application with all the supporting documents by Friday, the 12th of May to CTS College via this email address, which is bsc@ctscollege.com. And the semester's registration, tuition, and university fees must be paid in full by the 10th of June. Now, even if you clear whether it be your university fees or your tuition fees by the start date, or both of them, if you clear both of them, right, we can actually apply the discount for you, right? That's essentially how it would work. All right. So when exactly do you start? Your start date is the 10th of June. This is pretty much your deadline for you to make some sort of payment once you're accepted. And of course, the application deadline is next week, Friday, which is the 12th of May. So you must send in your applications, whether you're applying for level 4, 5, or 6 for June or even October. Send in your applications early, right? Send them in, prepare them over the weekend after I supply the documents via email. Reach out to me, not a problem, and have your documents sent in the earlier half of the week so that we can start processing as early as possible, because the absolute deadline for applications for our June semester, right, would be next week, Friday. So we want to ensure that we get all of the documents and we send them off in a timely manner as well in preparation for the June semester. So again, that date, you must send in your applications before the 12th of May, right? So that's Friday, the 12th of May, right? So are there any questions or concerns? I do have a second part of the presentation as well, and that would be the students who are interested in the bridging program. But are there any further questions on the BSc in IT? No? All right. So at this point, I'm actually going to jump straight into the bridging program. And what essentially is the bridging program? Well, the bridging program is for persons that don't really think that they meet the entry requirements for the BSc in IT, or they don't think that they're ready to start a BSc in IT. Right. So the bridging program is essentially a program that we created here at CTS College to assist students in meeting their true goal of starting their bachelor's degree and completing it. So the program is ideal for students just out of secondary school who are seeking to pursue a qualification in information technology. The course is ideal for persons who have completed their CSEC qualifications but may not have achieved the qualifying standard to start our BSc in information technology program. So essentially, it's a program that consists of 5 courses, 5 individual courses, right? Each of which will be awarded with an individual certificate, right? So it's essentially a group of courses that runs 3 times a year in accordance to the way that we would offer the semesters for our BSc in IT, right? Each course runs for a period of 4 weeks, 12 contact hours. The courses are practical with weekly assessments solving real life problems. So for each class, you would have an assessment that you have to prepare for your next day of class. All right. And of course, upon completion of each one of the courses, the students would basically receive a certificate for each one of the courses that they complete, which they can then add to their application to apply for the bachelor's in IT for the next available semester. So what are the courses that we actually have offered? We have a Java programming course, we have a Python programming course, we have a network fundamentals course, we have a web design course, and we have a database design course as well, right? Of course, these are tentative start dates and end dates, but the very first course would be starting, I believe, um, the uh, hmm, the 27th of June, right? And the 28th of June. So essentially how it works is that we wouldn't run all 5 courses Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We would start 2. Once we finish those 2, the other 2 would start. And once we finish those other 2, the last one would begin and end, right? So it's not like an entire week of classes where you have class every single day of the week. It's going to be stressful for persons to actually attend all of those and keep track of all of the assignments. So we've staggered the courses for you. And these are some tentative dates for you here as well, but closer to the next start date as well, which is way in June, like way into the end of June as well. So once we arrive closer to this, we would have much more defined dates, and these dates are actually determined by the availability of each one of our lecturers as well, right? So that's why we have some of the dates that are changed, or we have tentative dates as well, right? So in terms of registration, or in fact, in terms of cost, right? Individually, each one of the course costs 1,030. But if you're looking to do all 5 within one cycle, you can get 3,500. You could get 70% of each course, which totals to 3,500 for all 5. So essentially, you'd be paying $700 per course instead of $1,000 per course. All right. So I really do recommend that you do all 5 within one cycle, right? And then after you get all 5 certificates, you add in your CSEC qualification together with these 5 qualifications. You throw in your student resume, and then you apply for level 4 to start in October. All right. So this is definitely something that you want to look into. If you just came out of secondary school, you have absolutely no idea of what IT is, but you definitely want that qualification at the end of it. You want to start your bachelor's degree, start with a bridging program. And if you decide into intermediate that it's not for you, well, it's a lot better because you haven't really made that long-term investment of starting your bachelor's. You've made a shorter one in terms of getting an introduction of what your bachelor in IT would possibly look like. Because in fact, we have taken core aspects out of level 4 at the bachelor level, and we've developed this bridging program. So a lot of the courses that are included here, like the Java programming, Python programming, there's a lot of content that's actually directly related to what you would be doing at level 4 in the BSc in IT. So it's a lot more practical and applied. All right. In terms of payment plans, yes, we do actually have payment plans for short courses as well. So it could be either one of 2 options. You pay upfront, so you cover the cost of your bridging program upfront, or you could pay half of the tuition upfront and then 25% for each month for the remainder of the 2 months that you have left within the bridging program as well, right? So you could pay half upfront and then 25 by 25. So basically you pay half upfront and you clear the balance by the end of the cycle. All right. So applying, you must send in your complete registration form, and the registration form would be sent to all persons who attended the information session, even those who didn't, via email. So once you get that email, you look for the form, you basically complete that registration form, you tick off which units you would like to complete or which course you would like to enroll in, but you have to do so before the 27th of June because that's when the first course starts. So you have to at least register and at least pay something all the way up to the 27th of June, 2023. All right. So that's really it there in terms of the bridging program as well as CTS Bachelor's in Information Technology program offered in conjunction with the University of Bedfordshire. Are there any questions or concerns, whether it be for the bridging program or the BSc in IT? How many IT certifications for level 4 would be acceptable? If you're doing the bridging program, I recommend that you do all 5. But if you're not using the bridging program, maybe one or two may be acceptable depending on the qualification, right? Even we had students who did maybe just two of our bridging courses, so they did like the Java programming and they did the database and they were accepted. So it doesn't really matter as much. I would say like one or two in addition to your official CSEC certificate would be absolutely fine and acceptable for level 4. All right, no problem. Oh, without the bridging, then yeah, definitely maybe about one or two, right? Depending on the qualification. Do you have like something like A plus or what exactly is the qualification, if you don't mind me asking? Easy 900 and you signed up for CompTIA. Okay, no problem. But you want to finish CompTIA. If you finish CompTIA, you're definitely gonna get into level 4. And I would try to push to see if I could get you into level 5 with that qualification. But if you want to start at level 4 with it, absolutely not a problem. All right. Oh, okay, great. So you're not starting it until October, then absolutely, right? So that's not a problem there as well. So would you be still starting at level 4 if you do all of the courses in the bridging program? Essentially, yes, because what happens is that most of our CSEC students, they have absolutely no idea of what SQL is or what the programming languages may consist of. So it depends on the student because we have students who did the bridging program and well, they already had some sort of experience in IT and they just chose to, so it all depends on preference as well, right? But if you are a CSEC student, I would recommend doing all 5 of the bridging courses and you're definitely going to get into level 4 for sure, right? If you don't want to do all 5 courses and you have your CSEC certificate as well, right? Maybe 2 or 3 would be absolutely fine, right? But you still will only be able to start at level 4 regardless of how much bridging courses that you complete if you don't have any other qualifications. All right. Okay. So in fact, Megan, the thing is, you don't pay the university directly for the university fees or the pounds. You would have to pay CTS College, and we would pay the university on your behalf because in the past we've actually had the fees running straight to the university, and they start deducting fees in advance for some for semesters that the students would be sitting into in the future, which is fine. But the students had a problem with it because they wanted to pay when they wanted to pay. Because of that, we've actually made an agreement with them that we would be responsible. We actually set up a pounds account so you could transfer to our pounds account locally, and then we would transfer that amount once we are invoiced for you by the university. So credit card payments are out of the question. If you do wish to use credit card payments, the credit card payments would be facilitated at our main office, right? Using the regular conventional links machine as well to facilitate TT payments, right? The exam fees could be paid through the use of a bank draft. If you are First Citizens customer, you can do a direct deposit into our GBP account because we bank with First Citizens. Or you could do a wire transfer to our bank account, our Pounds bank account. All right. All right. So for levels 4 to 6, are students required to pay both the fees quoted in the pounds, or is it just a conversion? Well, you are required to pay both the TT and the university fees all the way throughout the semester, right? So basically, you, all right, so maybe it would be better if I actually revisit that slide for you as well, so I can actually use that to explain as we go along. So let me see if I could just locate that slide for you. So we can actually use the level 4 one as a excellent example. So over here, you can actually see that is registration fee, tuition fee, which would make up your TT fees, right? Then you would actually see that there's the university fees, which would make up your, well, your pounds, right? Your exam fees for the university, right? So you can actually see here that it's required to actually pay the registration fee, the tuition fee, right? And the university fee. So your total monthly payment would be this, right? So yes, you are required to pay the university fees together with the TT fees all the way throughout until you complete your semester goal, which is 4,500 £300 or whatever the total is at the end of that particular semester or level. All right, so these are essentially those fees in total here. 500 per semester, 1,000 in total for both semesters, 8,000 for the entire level, £600 for the entire level. So these are the definite amounts quoted here, and you have to clear this in order to progress on to your next level of study or your next semester, etc. Right, so yeah, it's all mandatory that you clear in total, but the payment plans are much more affordable way of making it happen, right? Because it's a lot easier for someone to pay this amount at the end of the first month and this amount at the end of the second, third, fourth, right? Because it's a lot affordable. 1,000 TT, right, per month. That's a lot less than a monthly payment plan for like a typical loan with a lot of banks in Trinidad right now, right? So that's a lot to consider as well. Persons that start at level 6, is there a way to look at a coursework for level 5 and level 4 as a resource? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you have access to all the materials, regardless if you're level 4, 5, or 6 students. If you're a level 4 student and you want to look at 5 and 6 content, you can. Even past assignments, you can. You have access to everything. All right. And even if you just want to get a peek of it, or if you need like module outlines as well, I could have those emailed to you as well. Right. Or I can actually, we can meet separately. I could, step you through some of the things that we do here separately as well, if that's something you're interested in doing. Are there any further questions or concerns? All right. So if there are no further questions or concerns, I just want to thank really quickly each and every one of you that would have taken the time out of this lovely Saturday morning to sit in with us and chat about the BSc in IT as well as our bridging program that we have to offer. And of course, again, you can get in contact with any one of the individuals on screen. Again, I am Sanjeev, so you can contact me directly after the session using this phone number. You can actually email me directly using this email address. However, if you want to contact all three of us, and the safer email address to use would be the BSc at CTS College One. All right. So when you're emailing your applications to us, it would go to bsc at ctscollege.com. You can always give me a call to indicate that you would have sent your application over so that we can quickly review it and have it prepared to be sent off before next week, Friday. All right. So I'm going to leave this up on screen so you guys can take the numbers, right? And of course, if there are any further questions, now would be the time. If there's no further questions, I would like to call at the end of the session. And I'd like to again thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your weekend to spend with us as well, right? I'm hoping that you enjoy the rest of your weekend. If there are no further questions, anyone with anything that you'd like to add, anything that they would like to say about the session, anything at all? No problem. Okay, great. That's actually excellent. Right? And thank you for taking the time as well to sit in with us today. It's really, really great that we had you in today. No problem. All right. So again, guys, quick thank you, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing from you guys next week. Or if you don't contact me, I will be contacting you possibly in the earlier half of next week. So like around Monday or Tuesday, you will definitely be hearing from me. All right. So again, thanks so much for attending, and I would be making contact with you guys next week. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.